You're watching Reality Check. Now, in this time of the coronavirus lockdown, government after government, both center and states, are promoting the mantra of digital classrooms, of basically online education as a way of ensuring that children don't lose out during a time when schools across India are still shut and there's a lack of clarity of when they will open.
Class 1 to 12.
In Patna, we meet Bihar's education minister. जैसे अब स्कूल्स वगैरह की जो भी चर्चा हो रही है कि डिजिटल ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन की जो बात की जा रही है, तो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन का सिर्फ एक ये सवाल है कि बहुत सारे लोग, खासकर जो मतलब गरीब तबके और उस तबके के लोग हैं, उनके पास एक्सेस नहीं है कि सेल फोन और उन चीज़ों से जिससे वो डाउनलोड कर सकें ये सारी।
अभी एक ये और भी हम लोगों ने किया है कि ये जो दूरदर्शन के माध्यम से क्लास 1 से 12 तक का उसका कोर्स चला रहे हैं हम लोग
जी,
और उसके बाद सारी किताबों को हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन कर दिया है एक ऐप पर
जी।
उसकी जानकारी सब लोगों को दे दी गई है। और दूरदर्शन के माध्यम से जो क्लासेस चल रहे हैं, हमने व्यक्तिगत रूप से एक दिन बैठ करके देख रहे थे, बहुत संतोषजनक था। तो ये सब काम हम लोग लॉकडाउन पीरियड में भी शिक्षा को कंटिन्यू।
दूरदर्शन से बच्चा मतलब सीखने की उसकी कितनी इच्छा तो
भाई फिलहाल के तो आप अब यही कर सकते थे हम लोग
जी,
क्लासेज हम लोग खोल नहीं सकते
जी।
तो उसकी वैकल्पिक व्यवस्था में हम लोगों ने यही किया और इसके माध्यम से बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं।
All right, joining me tonight, we go to panel, but let me begin with Govind Singh Dotasara, who's the Education Minister of Rajasthan. And I spoke to him earlier and I began by asking him the same question that I put to the Bihar Education Minister कि गोविंद सिंह जी ये बताइए कि आप भी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन की बात राजस्थान में कर रहे हैं, आप भी कह रहे हैं कि क्लासेस दूरदर्शन पे होंगे, लेकिन ऐसे कितने बच्चे हैं जिनके पास राजस्थान में स्मार्टफोन्स हैं या दूरदर्शन से सीख सकते हैं?
जी, निश्चित रूप से जब कोरोना संक्रमण आया अचानक से तो हमारी पढ़ाई बाधित हुई, हमारी परीक्षाएं भी बच्चों की स्थगित हो गई और हमारे लिए एक चैलेंज हो गया कि हम हमारे बच्चों को घर में बैठे को कैसे एजुकेशन दे पाएंगे। तो इसके लिए हमारे राजस्थान सरकार ने, शिक्षा विभाग ने एक कवायद की और स्माइल प्रोजेक्ट के माध्यम से व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप से हमारे टीचर्स को जोड़ने का काम किया और टीचर के साथ साथ अभिभावक और बच्चों के पास जिनके पास में एंड्रॉयड फ़ोन है उनको व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप से जोड़ करके हमने उनको कंटेंट्स डालने का काम किया।
नहीं, लेकिन जी नहीं, मेरा ये कहना था कि एंड्रॉयड फोन्स लेकिन कितने बच्चों के पास होगा?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वो कम लोग थे। 20,000 30,000 टीचर जुड़े, जो 80,000 बच्चे जुड़े। लेकिन उसके बाद में हमने जावड़ेकर जी को पत्र लिखा, सूचना और प्रसारण केंद्रीय मंत्री जी को, और हमने कहा कि भाई रेडियो बहुत जगह मिल जाता है और दूरदर्शन जो डीडी न्यूज है ये भी मैं समझता हूँ मिल जाता है। तो इस दिशा में हम आगे बढ़े। पहले हमें केवल आकाशवाणी के लिए 25 रेडियो स्टेशन के लिए उन्होंने फ्री में 55 मिनट का प्रतिदिन का स्लॉट दिया और उसके बाद में दूरदर्शन को कुछ से पेमेंट लेकर के हमको 3.5 घंटे का पेमेंट दिया।
बट दूरदर्शन भी यही सवाल है कि टीवी क्या कितने लोगों के पास है, क्या है इतना टीवी कवरेज?
नहीं, निश्चित रूप से मानता हूं मैं, लेकिन जो हमने प्रयास किया, जो हम तात्कालिक रूप से कर सकते थे, देश में किसी भी स्टेट में ये प्रयास नहीं हुआ। राजस्थान की ओर से हमने प्रयास किया कि रेडियो के ऊपर भी हमने बच्चों को पढ़ाने का काम किया और दूरदर्शन पे भी किया। लेकिन मैं समझता हूं कि अगर इस तरीके की ये महामारी लंबी खिंचती है, हम स्कूल नहीं खोल पाते हैं, तो हमारा जो आरटी, जो हमारा कानून है जिसको अनिवार्य रूप से हमें बच्चों को जो शिक्षा देनी है, उसमें मैं समझता हूँ बाधा पहुँचती है। और इसके लिए अब हमने पीएबी में जो केंद्र सरकार को, हम मानव संसाधन मंत्रालय को जो हमारा प्लान लेकर के जाते हैं, उस प्लान में हम कई तरह के प्रोजेक्ट लेकर के जा रहे हैं कि अगर इस तरह की दिक्कत आती है कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन की तरफ हमें जाना पड़ेगा, तो हम लोग केंद्र सरकार से ये चाहेंगे कि वो प्रोजेक्ट को मंजूरी दे, हमें केंद्र सरकार सहायता दे, पैसा दे।
तो मंत्री जी, क्या फिर बताइए आप कैसे करेंगे? क्या ये सारे जो बच्चे हैं उनको आप कोई फोन्स या टैबलेट्स बांटेंगे?
नहीं, हम इस प्रकार के प्रोजेक्ट लेके जा रहे हैं कि कोई इस तरीके के टैबलेट्स या जो उपकरण आते हैं जिसके माध्यम से बहुत कम खर्चा उसका होता है और केवल वही कंटेंट्स जो यहाँ से हम साला दर्पण के माध्यम से या हमारे एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट जो है वो अगर उन कंटेंट्स को डालेगा तो केवल वही बच्चे देख पाएंगे और वो चीज़ पढ़ पाएंगे और वो प्रत्येक विद्यार्थी के पास में उपलब्धता सरकारें कराएं। ये प्रयास जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन का कोई मायना नहीं रहे। आप देखिए जैसे नेट की सुविधा है लेकिन वो बच्चे क्या पढ़ रहे हैं क्या देख रहे हैं, वो साथ में एजुकेशन के नाम से कहीं कोई पिक्चर तो नहीं देख रहे हैं, नेट पे और कुछ तो नहीं देख रहे हैं, गेम तो नहीं खेल रहे हैं। तो ये सब चीज़ें वास्तव में चैलेंज है, लेकिन जो आज जो परिस्थितियां बनी है उसके अंदर जो हमने बेस्ट करने की चेष्टा की है वो बेस्ट किया है। लेकिन अब आगे भी हम केंद्र सरकार को अभी 18 तारीख को हम जो हमारा प्लान लेकर के जा रहे हैं उसमें हम इस तरह की व्यवस्था लेके जा रहे हैं, प्रोजेक्ट लेके जा रहे हैं कि उन बच्चों को जो खेत ढाणी खलियान में गरीब का बेटा बैठा है उसको भी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन मिले। जी।
Also joining us on the show, we have Atishi with us, leader of the Aam Aadmi Party. We have Bikram Daulat Singh, who's MD of Central Square Foundation, which also works on grassroots education, and Anjali Modi, freelance journalist, who's written on education in India for many years. Thank you all so much for joining us. Atishi, if I can just start with you, the same challenges in Delhi as well. I know that the assumption is that in urban environments, children, even those who are from lower income groups, may have greater access to phones and so on. But is that true? And what's been your experience in Delhi and with the Delhi schools and trying to make this switch to this kind of digital mantra?
So I think, Srinivasan, the situation is likely to be better in Delhi than maybe in rural Bihar, rural Rajasthan or rural Jharkhand. But even in a place like Delhi, at least half the students who come to Delhi government schools don't have access to Android phones within their families. And so the idea that we can substitute face-to-face education with online education is definitely a flawed idea. And yes, some of the older students who might be in grade 11 and 12 may have access to online devices like phones, tablets, etc. But I think a vast majority of the children still do not have access.
Okay.
And so when we started running some of our programs for the lower grades, we extensively run programs on foundation skills, reading, maths, etc. in the early months of every academic year. So we have actually run them through SMSs, missed calls and IVRs, whereby we have been sending activities for children to do. It's only for older children in 11th and 12th grade that we ran online classes.
IVR is through normal phones. Right.
Yes. But I would be, no one has been prepared for a pandemic like this. And I think this is a situation the world is encountering for the first time. And if schools cannot be reopened, then I think there will be a very serious need to rethink how is it that we are educating our children, because I don't think online education can be a way for mass education.
Atishi, what do you think? I mean, I know again we're in uncharted waters here, but very briefly, what could be a way out of this?
So again, as I said, cannot
in the
say
event
for
that this
many
continues
other, for the rural hinterland, I can't say, but I think that at least for a place like Delhi, television is definitely a better solution than online education, because I think that access to television, at least in urban India, is far more universal. So I think that if we were to run classes where children can watch on television, that could possibly be one solution, definitely a more accessible solution than online education.
Right. Okay. Anjali Modi, you know, while of course it's I don't think it will be anyone's case that, given what you've just heard, that online education can really become this new kind of mantra, especially when you move outside cities. But then what solutions could there be, especially in the rural hinterland? Because if you're going to be in a position where you can't really reopen schools, how are children going to be able to learn?
Okay, one, I'd like to pick up on something that Atishi says. She's right about, cities being a little bit different from rural areas, but not that much, because even the Delhi government's online classes for class 11 and 12 have had very, very low attendance, if which is what people look at. So, for instance, only something like 30% of class 11 students have been attending the maths classes. It's below 40% for English. So, and it's not simply having a mobile phone or a smartphone. It's also the nature of the interaction. Students actually don't find it useful, or they don't have the time, or they don't have net connectivity, or a million things. I think the other thing that Atishi said, which is something that all governments should really be thinking about, is the digital divide that we're talking about is really, just the latest expression of a very iniquitous system. Right? Our education system is not designed for the majority of India's children. It never was. And what this online schooling business is doing is it's actually showing that up. Now, what I found interesting about your interactions with students in Bihar was that here were children who were actually, meeting with each other. They were able to interact with each other, and nobody's actually thought about a village by village solution, right? Now, there's been somebody who, school education cannot be decided in the capital city. It has to be decided by a community. And I think it is community solutions that we have to be looking for as we go forward. So
that's really that's going to be the way forward. Okay. Okay. Bikram Daulat Singh, what do you make of this, and what do you think could be based on your own experiences of the schools and children institutions you work with to surmount this challenge of how to teach children in a country which is so digitally divided?
Yeah, so Srinivasan, I think we're in uncharted territory, but I think the positive side of this is that we need to recognize that till COVID, all innovation and funding around EdTech was actually focused on a sliver of some 10 million children in India, what we call India One, out of more than 260 million children. And this was really because of a lot of the current EdTech products not being affordable, challenges around availability of products in vernacular languages, lack of evidence of what works. But COVID of course, it's tragic. It led to unprecedented disruption of learning for 260 million children across 1.5 million schools. But it's also potentially a Sputnik moment for EdTech, as finally there's no choice but to replicate the learning process through digital education. And what we are finding is that the national government, state governments, and the ed ecosystem are stepping up to meet the challenge. And for example, Diksha, which is the government platform for school education to disseminate digital learning content, has had 10 million downloads and now is the #1 top free educational app in India. There have been 46 million content plays just in April and May, which is like half of last year. Diksha has almost set up this digital highway now, through which a lot of high quality content is being disseminated. TicTac, just to give you an example, TicTac Learn is a video library that has been created free by Center Square Foundation and Google. And now it's being accessed by 11 state governments, and we've almost had 12 million views in just 11 weeks of launch. And and we heard from the Ed Minister of Rajasthan, but several state
Bikram,
governments and
right,
I just want to say that
those I mean, in isolation, those sounds like big numbers, but in the context of a country like India, those are very limited numbers, no? And as we know, the macro data about internet connectivity and smartphone usage is still very poor.
Yeah, no, a couple of things I want to say. I think you're right. It's early stages in a lot of these programs. Many states have, launched holistic programs. And I just wanted to call out that, 2-3 features, so people are being thoughtful. The first is they're trying to integrate all these digital learning materials to the curriculum that the child was anyway supposed to consume. They're now increasingly looking at low-tech channels, which we heard from the Education Minister of Rajasthan, IVRS, TV, radio. So I'll tell you, for example, UP, 90% of teachers in UP have formed WhatsApp groups with their students. So 25 lakh students across the states are now connected with their teacher on WhatsApp. So, a lot of material is being shared. Doordarshan, we heard, in UP, now there was a 1.5 hour slot, this increased to 4 hours. Increasingly, we are also, of course, there's a challenge around reach, and we're finding that now many states are also trying to track usage. And
so low tech
data, low tech is probably the way to go, and we feel there's a 2.0
low tech is the
program.
Atishi. Okay, But Aditi, give us a sense that in this time, as children are grappling with this whole uncertainty, trying to adapt to these newer ways of learning, what sort of impact is it actually having on children and you know all the work that was done in places like Delhi to really come quite a long way with education? What are the concerns about how this could push things back?
So I think we are definitely, as far as this corona pandemic is concerned, on uncharted territory in every field, be it in the field of health, hospitals, economy, education, because the world has never really seen a crisis like this. So I think that definitely this would set children back. I think that especially for children who are coming into government schools, they're often coming from the poorest sections of society, often they're first generation learners. So their only access to educational material and exposure was coming from schools. So I think that yes, there would be a setback, but I think that at this point of time, there is also limited interventions that can be done. Online education, yes, is an intervention, but there's no doubt that there is a very serious digital divide. And television channels is an intervention that is available for urban areas, but then may not be available for rural areas. So as with many other domains, I think that if this pandemic was to continue, there will need to be a fundamental rethink as to how is it that we are teaching.
Okay. Anjali, so, I mean, what do you make of what you know, Bikram was saying that there is, I mean, you know, there is a challenge, but at the same time, a lot of states are adapting to this digital mantra. There's a lot of downloads of these apps.
Well, firstly, I think governments in general are very obsessed with tech. So this is just an opportunity for, you know, civil servants who've in any case been sort of, you know, filling government school classrooms with smart boards. I mean, they may not have benches to sit on, but they have smart boards. They may not have an internet connection, but they have smart boards. So this is an opportunity for governments who've been looking at that sort of thing to buy into this idea. The figures that he's, you know, with all due respect, those numbers are really quite meaningless. A number like 90% of UP teachers having formed WhatsApp groups and connected with all their students. That's sort of, you know, I'd say to somebody who actually says that, what have you been smoking? Because have you been to the average UP school? Have you seen, you know, what happens over there? You know, the students actually were attending regular school. I mean, yes, you know, this is an unprecedented time. We have to rethink, but I think we have to rethink the whole education system. You know, is this down one size fits all education system that's designed for a small minority of, you know, well-to-do, privileged people? Is that the education system that we must continue? I mean, this is actually an opportunity for us to step back and think. We're so obsessed with finishing the syllabus and
just one quick
year, that we're not actually thinking in terms of learning.
Okay, so you're saying almost rethink, but just very quickly.
Not almost, do rethink.
Right, just very, very quickly in the end, Atishi. Yeah, just very quickly in the end, Atishi. Rajasthan Minister was even talking perhaps about the possibility of actually distributing tablets or even phones or some device where they can only access educational material. Is that something which is realistic at all?
I mean, I think that it's a very large scale to be thinking about it. And it's also a large scale at a time when all governments across the country are going through a very severe financial crisis and crunch. And for example, I mean, for the 2 months of lockdown, there have been virtually no taxes that have come in. All governments are struggling just to make ends meet. So I'm not sure whether we will very soon be in a situation where tablets can be given to every student. As I said, I think there's no easy answers to this question. I think, yes, a lot of the things that Vikrama talked about are positive. I think it is that we are moving in that direction. But I think we are still a very long way from having very clear-cut answers about where the education system is going to go if we cannot reopen schools.
Okay. Okay, well, at least that's a candid admission of the scale of the challenge. But it's been fascinating. Thank you all so much for joining me on Reality Check. We're completely out of time. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.